Almost Relevant Introduction Episode.
Welcome to the Almost Relevant Podcast, where we delve into any rabbit hole, no matter how deep. The podcast for everything nerdy and geek. I am Elliott Lee.
And I'm Jeremy Collier. In today's episode, we will introduce ourselves and talk about what you can expect from the podcast. So as I said, my name is Jeremy Collier. I'm a gamer, podcaster, teacher, and author. I host another podcast called Knights of the Video Game Table. It's a video game podcast that me and a couple friends created back in 2009. Currently, it's just me and my friend Patrick that do it, for many reasons. And let's see, right now I'm currently playing Destiny on the PlayStation 4, just to tie in my video game playing a little bit there. But my true passion really is writing, being an author, and developing that persona online. Basically, if you can Google me, you'll find my writing. I've written and published one short story, one unpublished novella, one unpublished novel, all set in a world I created called Cinesol. Cinesol is a post-apocalyptic steampunk world that basically there's a lot going on, and it's pretty interesting. And as I said, I have a co-host. His name's Elliott. I met him back in 2002 when we were both going to college at DeVry, which didn't turn out very well for either of us. And with that was very scripted, so I'm going to let him turn over. No, I'm not going to let him turn over. I'm going to turn it over to him.
Whoa,
so he can...
What kind of podcast is this?
I'm going to turn it over to him, and he can talk a little more about himself.
Alright, so I'm also an avid video game player.
I switched it up on you. I didn't use the word avid.
Oh, okay. Well, you also said I'm your co-host, anyways.
I thought that's what we were going to go with.
Well, but you never stated that I was your co-host, and you reiterated saying that you stated that
I apologize. He is my co-host, so there you go.
Anyways, so about myself, well, I guess my background, I did go to DeVry about 10 years ago. Actually, I guess it was 12 years ago with Jeremy, and
it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Actually, almost, about 12 years ago. I decided that wasn't for me, so I made a pretty bold move and went to culinary school.
How'd that turn out?
I'm a certified culinarian, and I'm now a almost 30-year-old college freshman because it did not work out. I just returned to school this fall. I'm looking into computer science. I'm new to podcasting, and actually the whole reason I'm Jeremy's co-host is I was a guest host on his other podcast, and I guess I had what it takes to be a co-host.
Yeah, a host. I mean, we're both hosts. We're each other's co-hosts. So Almost Relevant Podcast is, as I've been using today and yesterday, a brainchild of mine for actually many years. As I said, we've been doing KVGT podcast since 2009, when it was four of us who started it. A lot of fun, all video game based, and it's become basically a staple in my life. But there's always been something that I wanted to do a little different. Something less video game focused and more about my other passions. And I don't have very many people in my life that know or appreciate anything about writing. And so it's been kind of hard. I have, I couldn't find the right host, and I approached some other friends, and I finally settled on Elliott.
Yeah, thanks, because everyone likes being seventh choice.
Well, not seventh. I think you were about fifth.
Oh, okay. But, then that's okay.
I did ask other people first, but it wasn't for lack of thinking Elliott could be part of it. It's just that he'd never shown desire for being on a podcast, and he also didn't show any interest in... Well, I never thought he had interest in writing, which has been a pretty much brand new interest of yours. I mean,
to a certain extent. It's mainly just having gone back to school and kind of realizing my potential a bit. Even though I don't plan in really going into writing, it is actually, I guess something. I don't know if you would say I'm a natural at it, but I definitely have some talent.
You have, as I put it, you have the raw talent in writing that a lot of people don't have. And this is coming from someone who's been through the college level, but also been part of the author community, the indie author community now for about 2 years. So, it's one thing to write well because you've learned how to write well. It's another thing to write well because it just comes naturally to you. And and I know this is going to sound kind of what's it called when you talk good about yourself?
Pretentious?
Yeah, not pretentious, kind of like
arrogant,
but I'm both. I'm natural at it, but I've also...
Oh, I thought you meant arrogant and pretentious.
I'm a natural at writing, but I've also been doing it for years, and I've been practicing for years, and I've gone through the college. I got my bachelor's degree in English. I plan on going back for my MFA in creative writing. So, I am a natural because I look back at my stuff from high school and even earlier, and it's pretty good for the age I was. And now it's even better. I mean, I'm not the best, but I'm still getting better. As where Elliott, he hasn't had too much practice, but what I have read of his is pretty good. And so, again, this is something that I've been wanting to do. This podcast has been something I've been wanting to do for a while. It's not just about writing, obviously. It's not just about video games. It's not just about culinary school.
We'll probably be a little about that, to be honest.
No, yeah. This is more a variety show. If you remember or know about the shows back from the 70s, and neither of us were born in the 70s, but through our parents, I don't know if you ever know about the variety shows of the 70s.
Just like little clips here and there on YouTube. That's about it, really.
Yeah, the one that comes to my mind, and I actually never seen it, but it's like one of the most popular, is The Gong Show.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never seen it. But basically, it's like any topic, whatever comes up. What kind of like Saturday Night Live, kind of. Saturday Night Live's a modern day variety show. I know it's been going a long time.
It kind of makes me think of almost like those talent shows, like X Factor and stuff. Just like whatever you have to bring.
Kind of, yeah. Only
Except
instead of
we're not going to get X'd out. Well, hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get X'd out. If you want to X us out, you can. No. So it's as I put in the show notes, it's going to be seemingly random topics, and these are going to be topics that we're interested in. That basically, as the tagline says, that we're going to delve into. Me and Elliott are known for delving into the rabbit hole, and this is the reason that tagline came up is because that's something we say to each other a lot. Where all of a sudden he's like, I'm bored, and then like half hour later he goes, oh man, the Wikipedia rabbit hole or the YouTube rabbit hole. So this
3 hours later.
Yeah, 3 hours later. So this is kind of something that we've said to each other, and
well, also not to mention our approaches, how we were talking about earlier, how just like how I have more of a critical thinking, thought process, where you have more of a creative thought process.
Yeah, definitely.
We approach things a bit differently.
Definitely, I'm more creative thinking. Yeah, and so it's kind of like when we were in the car earlier on our way to dinner, and we were just kind of discussing creative versus critical. And as we're discussing this, I'm thinking this would be a great topic for the podcast. So that's probably something we will do down the line. But it was just like it was kind of natural. And that's kind of what I realized when we had Elliott on last week on KVGT podcast, is he's just kind of a natural conversationalist, and we're comfortable talking to each other. So for the most part, this episode we're talking to our fans because we're introducing ourselves. Most episodes will be us talking to each other or our guests, which I'll get into in a second, and less talking directly to you. And I think that's how a good podcast should be. It's more like you're the fly on the wall listening into an interesting conversation.
They're the eavesdroppers. That's just kind of being a little creepy.
Basically,
that's
yeah.
Okay. A little creepy's okay.
Yeah, basically, a little creepy's okay. So, where we're gonna go from there? The first, I actually don't know. We don't have a plan past the first couple episodes, but as we get farther in, the plan is to start bringing on different co-hosts pretty often, maybe every week, or maybe once a month, maybe twice a month, maybe once every other month. We're not sure yet. But the point is that it's not going to be just us every week. And the topics will revolve around the guest host that we have on. I want to put this up here right straight. If you're looking for interviews, this is not what it's going to be. It's going to be a conversation. As I just said, it's going to be a conversation between us and whatever guest host we have on. With that said, if you want to be on our show already, I mean, if you're really interested after just listening to us babble on for a few minutes in this introduction episode, I'll leave the email at the end of the show. I'll leave the webpage, and you can go ahead and drop us a line and what you do and why we would be interested in having you on. And that's something that'll be ongoing even from episode 0 or introduction episode all the way up to whatever episode we're on. If anybody's interested, if this is a year from now and you're interested and you're listening to this episode, and we haven't said it in an episode you listen to, I don't know why I'm babbling on, but go ahead and email us. Before we end this episode, I did want to say that a few things that I think make good podcasting. And some things that I'm going to bring to this podcast that I believe that will make this fun to listen to, I guess you could put it. For one, with Knights of the Video Game Table, one thing that I've learned is it's not always about what's in front of you and what we're talking about. It's where we go with it. And that, again, goes back to the whole rabbit hole thing. We might start talking about cats.
Everyone likes cats. Come on. Oh, most everyone likes cats. The internet loves cats.
Yeah.
Loves cats.
So we might start talking about, this video we saw of a cat this week on YouTube.
Which led to another 20 videos.
Yeah, which definitely led to another 20 videos. And then we might end up talking about, what can we go to from a cat?
Okay.
Go ahead.
The origin of cats, or the pre-domesticated cats, the wild feral ones.
So wild feral, and then maybe from there we look at start talking about mythology in cats, or Egyptian with cats. And all of a sudden we're just talking about something that's totally not very lightly related to the first topic, and we have a really good conversation around it. So that's kind of what we're going to do. It's going to be a very conversational podcast. It's going to be very dependent on our moods, dependent on the people we have on, dependent on what we're thinking at that time. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you join us after this episode. And if you want to check out everything we have right now, our temporary website, and you'll actually always be able to get to our website from this because I'll just forward it no matter where we go. That's jeremycollier.com/almostrelevant. That is jeremycollier.com/almostrelevant. And also, you can email us at almostrelevantpodcast@gmail.com if you want to tell us you love us, tell us you hate us, tell us you're indifferent. Either way, or any of the ways, really.
Or tell us, or send us pictures of cats.
Oh, I thought you were going to say send us pictures of something else.
Well, I mean, I don't know who might be listening, so maybe not.
All right. So with that said, that's it for this first inaugural. And no, this is like a episode 0. So this isn't really the inaugural.
It's the prologue.
Episode. It's a prologue. It's an introduction episode. So we're gonna end it right here, and I hope you join us for episode 1, which will be out soon after this one. So if you're really listening to this day 1 or within a few days of release, thank you. You're awesome, and episode 1 will be out real soon. If not, if it's a little later than that, go to the website and get episode 1 right now.
There's anyone out there, thank you for listening.
Sherry slides the gate and closes up for the night. Walks through the mall in sighs, gets in a Chevrolet and blasts the Cure and the Snoops. Puts her flask to her lips, takes exit 22 and pulls in her parking space. Climbs up the fire escape, steps into a bedroom and crashes onto a bed. Rips stockings from her legs. She looks in the mirror and thinks that it's time to start another life. So she's putting on her goggles and a bowler hat. She checks her pocket watch, adjusts her rocket back. She laces up her boots and puts her makeup on. She grabs her leather coat and her Tesla gun. But she used to be a gawk and now she's a steamboat.